All right. I think I finally figured out why my webcam wasn't working. So here we are in high definition. So kind of adjusting some things, but I figured it out. So HD Live Volume 23. How's everyone doing? So I've got a few awesome things to talk to you guys about among the videos, but we'll save that for the end. So let's talk about what I watched. All right, let's go one by one here. Okay, you heard me mention it last week. This is Observe and Report. So, geez, this came out in 2009. Okay, so I think Paul Blart came out around the same time, maybe a year before, a year after. I feel like this one came out after, and it was the answer to that movie. I wasn't a big fan of that movie. I'm not a big Kevin James fan. I did like him in what's that recent movie where he played a criminal and he takes over a house. It's kind of a remake of Fight for Your Life. I can't remember what it's called. We'll talk about that one next week. I'll look it up. Maybe I'll watch it. But anyway, Observer Report is about kind of follows the story of a mall security guard, Seth Rogen, who's trying to track down a flasher, and it's done in a very comical way. It's a comedy, and this movie is raunchy. It is raw. It is surprisingly insane for a Hollywood movie, and I think it didn't do that well, and it wasn't that popular. And I didn't even find out about it until years after. A friend told me about it, and I see why it wasn't that popular, because it's a little bit off the cuff, and it seems like movies like that are Hollywood produced that go a little too extreme, they kind of get a bad rap. But this is the kind of movie I look for. But anyway, Observe and Report. If you like I like movies that are set in malls too, which is kind of a weird fetish. But this one is set in a mall, 2009. Seth Rogen, a bunch of people. Ray Liotta plays a dirty cop. Does a great job in it. And who else we got in here? Michael Pena. Anna Faris. I believe she was in the original Scary Movie, among other things. She is hilarious in this. So anyway, check it out. Observe and Report. Might be streaming, might not. I don't know. Check her out. All right, next up, we got Outland with Sean Connery. So I watched Dave Parker's show. If you don't know who Dave Parker is, check him out. His show is way better than mine. And he bought, I think it was, check me if I'm wrong, Dave, it was the Arrow release, or maybe it was a 4K release of this movie. And I had seen this movie before a long time ago. Not when it came out or anything like that. It came out in 1981. I didn't see it then, but I think I watched it in college, and I rented it on VHS. I'm a big Sean Connery fan, so I want to watch anything that he's been in. And I found it kind of odd that he's in this sci-fi movie, because it might be the only sci-fi he's ever done. I don't know. Check me if I'm wrong there. And I remember liking it. I remember it was something kind of different. So I wanted to rewatch it. So I found a used copy and watched Outland. And one thing that was kind of interesting. So in Dave's review, he talks about how this movie could have been a Western, but it's set in a science fiction setting. And I had that in my head when I rewatched it. And it was interesting to have those thoughts when watching. It was like, oh yeah, I guess I could see that. Because when I first watched it, I didn't think about that. But you probably do that with a lot of movies where you kind of change the setting, change the story up a little bit, and it would work. I'd like to see this as a Western, possibly not with Sean Connery though, because he's not alive. But I think I would have enjoyed it as a Western too. Anyway, that's Outland, Sean Connery, 1981. Peter Boyle also stars in it. Some other people too. I saw some people that were recognizable by. Their name escapes me. But anyway, Outland, Sean Connery. Okay. This is a pawn shop pickup. Got it for $0.25. Thank you, Scott Tepperman. This is Gilligan's Return from Gilligan's Island. So if you've never seen Gilligan's Island, the show's great. I mean, it's probably pretty dated now. It is dated, cheesy, maybe not the greatest. I grew up with Gilligan's Island, Skipper, Gilligan, movie star, Mr. and Mrs. Howell, the whole gang. Loved it, man. I always loved this show. And it was one of those shows that's kind of weird. It started off in black and white and then became color because it was in that time period. So There's black and white Gilligans, and there's color Gilligans. This is in color. So this is basically the last episode, I believe. I've seen this before, and then when I rewatched it, I remember like, oh yeah, I've seen it before. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm glad I own this and have it. The reason I don't really like it is because they get off the island, and it's about they're back, in America, and they're dealing with the problems of that and trials and tribulations. It's just not funny anymore, when the whole plot is they're stuck in this island. They're trying to get off every day. They're coming up with a new plan. The professor's like, okay, here's what we do. We put a bunch of coconuts together and we make a raft out of here. Things keep failing. Gilligan keeps screwing it up. The skipper keeps getting mad at Gilligan. That's the plot. Once they're off the island, it's like, what do we do now? And like I said, I'm really happy to own this because I am a fan of Gilligan's Island, but I'd be more happy to find the series out in the wild. It was cool to revisit, but they ain't on the island. So there's that. That's Gilligan. Okay, what next? Oh, man. This is another pawn shop pickup, a quarter. Got this movie for a quarter, which is really interesting because I remember when VHS was kind of going away and you'd see them for 50 cents a quarter, 10 cents. DVDs are starting to get like that. So anyway, this is Monsters Ball. I saw this movie when it came out. I was working in a video store when it came out. And not my typical kind of thing. It's a drama, but I think it won an Academy Award or was nominated or people were talking about it. Because I remember at the time when it came out, it was being talked about a lot. And great movie. Sad, kind of depressing movie. But, you got Billy Bob Thornton, Halle Berry, and Heath Ledger in a supporting role. They all did phenomenal in their roles. Like I said, really kind of a sad story. If you're looking for something kind of upbeat to watch and trying to get in a good mood, I wouldn't suggest Monsters Ball. But if you want something you can think deeply about, check this out. Side note on this, Puff Daddy plays Halle Berry's ex-husband, boyfriend, father of her child, and he's in prison and he's on death row. And I forgot that he was in it. And it's kind of ironic to see him in this movie, behind bars. Totally forgot about that. But anyway, Monsters Ball, amazing film. Check it out if you can. If you like these actors too, they all did a great job. And I feel like it was either nominated or won an Academy Award. It doesn't say anything on the back. But I don't know. I could be wrong. Oh, wait. Academy Award winner, Best Actress, Halle Berry. No kidding. Oh, Siskel and Ebert, Best Film of the Year. Okay, she won Best Actresses. Wow, good for her, man. I did not know that. So there you go. That's Monsters Ball. All right, up next. Okay, The Rookie. This is another quarter pickup, man. I've seen this movie once before. You got Clint Eastwood, Charlie Sheen, kind of a buddy cop movie. Not a traditional buddy cop movie. More dramatic, a little actiony. So you got Clint Eastwood as the seasoned old, detective, and then you got hotshot Charlie Sheen, no pun intended, kind of the what do you call the role? The supporting role, I guess. Probably has more screen time than Clint Eastwood in this, but I don't know. Anyway, it's like I said, it is the standard kind of buddy cop movie, and they become partners. They're police partners, whatever you want to call it. And things go wrong. Clint Eastwood ends up being kidnapped, and Charlie comes to save the day. I like Charlie Sheen. I know in modern times he's a bit controversial. I think he's a good actor, nevertheless. I try to separate the actor from the artist from the art. I've always been pretty good about that, and he does a great job in this, man. He's awesome in it, as well as Clint Eastwood. It's a good movie. If you like stuff like this, you like Dirty Harry, you want to see more, but it's not exactly Dirty Harry. I'd go with this, and this is The Rookie with Charlie Sheen and Clint Eastwood. Check her out. So I got kind of on a cop pick, and then this is another pawn shop pickup for a quarter. So this is Family of Cops with Charles Bronson. So I feel like I've seen this, or I saw the first one. I think there's 3 of them. I'm pretty sure there's 3 of them. So I love Charlie Bronson, one of my favorite actors of all time. This is his second to last movie before he died. And I'm ashamed to say it, you can tell. It felt forced, felt like he didn't want to be there. I don't think his performance is that great. he didn't have as much screen time as he usually does. It felt like they just kind of stuck him in there. I want to visit part 3 is actually his last film. I'm glad to own this. I mean, how many of these are still around? I like anything Charles Bronson. And I did like parts of it, but you know, not one of his more memorable performances, unfortunately. Um, but if you're a fan of Charles Bronson, check it out. I feel like the first one's the best one, which usually is. And then, like I said, I just first time watching part 2 and 3. I don't even know. But this is Family of Cops, part 2 with Charles Bronson. A physical copy of this, I don't know. I mean, who even kept this? Someone did, put it in a pawn shop, and now I have it. Anyway, that's Family of Cops. All right. Another cop movie. This is probably the best of the bunch. This is Bad Lieutenant with Harvey Keitel, directed by Abel Ferrara. Probably my favorite movie by Abel. This movie is insane, for lack of a better word. Harvey Keitel, probably one of his most memorable, if not his most memorable performance. I like him in Taxi Driver as a pimp, but holy moly, in this role, whoa! I mean, it felt real. That shot, that iconic shot there, is in the movie, and he is indeed a bad lieutenant. He's doing dirty stuff with dirty people, living dirty, riding dirty, being dirty, and I almost feel like this movie was based on a true story. But it's rated NC-17, and you don't get that in Hollywood anymore. I'm curious to look up what the last NC-17 Hollywood produced movie was, but I love this movie, man. I mean, I remember hearing about it, and then when I first saw it, I'm like, whoa, this is out there, man. Anyway, I got this for a quarter. I already own this movie, but for a quarter, I'm like, you know what? I bet one of my friends does not own this. So, Jesse, it looks like you're watching. I said, Wake and Bake edition. This is going to be coming to you, buddy. I already have one. So you said you didn't own it. So this Bad Lieutenant will be yours pretty soon, man. I'm assuming you. I think we spoke. I think you said you have seen it, but owning this, you need to revisit this, man, because they don't make movies like this anymore. That's Harvey Keitel, Bad Lieutenant. All right. This is another pawn shop pickup for a quarter. This is Night Owl with Jennifer Beals. Don't confuse her with Jessica Biel. Jennifer Beals from Flashdance. So my buddy Scott Teverman recommended this one. So I like this movie. It was different. It's an erotic thriller, which I appreciated. I mean, it's just so weird that those movies were so prevalent for so long and they just kind of went away. And that's why I made Fatal Desires recently, because I'm like, this was such a popular genre and just got. Anyway, this is Night Owl, kind of a different erotic thriller, not super erotic. So if you're like expecting a lot of sleaze, don't watch that. But a good movie nevertheless. So kind of a weird. Jennifer Beals sports like this weird haircut. And I'd hate to be like, it kind of, I don't know, it kind of bothered me because I'm so used to seeing her in Flashdance and having that look. And it just, I don't know. It just looked strange to me. And I don't feel like it fit her character either. But what do I know, man? But kind of a different erotic thriller, man. I don't know what to really say about it. It was something different. Check it out. I don't know if this is streaming or not, but Jennifer Beals does a great job as always. I always liked her as an actress. I can't think of anything recent she's done. I don't know if she's still acting or not. I have to look that up. But this is Night Owl, Jennifer Beals, erotic thriller. Check it out. Okay, so I didn't watch them all, but I started to watch them. I've had this for a while. This was a gift from my friend Mondo years ago. This is the Freddy's Nightmares TV show. So this is a bootleg, man. Oh, jeez. Hold on. Technical difficulties, guys. Okay, there we go. So these are burned copies. Like this is, I think he got this at a convention. So my buddy Mondo gave me this years ago. There might be a real edition out. I don't know. So I started watching these, and I kind of heard different things about them over the years. They're not that great. Robert Englund isn't in them. So Robert Englund isn't in them, but he's the, he's like the horror host. So he's in them. He's there, and it's him. He's in the full Freddy makeup. It looks great. And, he's in the in-betweens, the skits and stuff in between, the episodes. So that was kind of fun, but wasn't my favorite part, actually. It's cool that he was there. But these episodes are more like sleazy Skinamax erotic, mini erotic thrillers. Like I was expecting more kind of along the lines of Tales from the Crypt type stuff, you know, a little spooky, a little more lean more towards horror. These lean more towards sleaze, which is just odd, you know. I'm like, you could have totally retitled this something else. It was kind of like, I don't know if you guys ever seen the Hitchhiker. I'll pull it out real quick. Boom, these. It was more like that, which was a Skinamax thing, you know. Um, and I just found that kind of odd that they did that with Freddy's Nightmares. You know, maybe that's why it didn't last. How many seasons did this go for? Okay, look, 44 episodes that aired in syndication from October 1988 to March of 1990. All right, so the last 2 years. Cool, that's cool. It says that too. You want some sleaze? Watch Freddy's Nightmares. Something different, you know, and you'll get some Robert Englund in there too, doing quippy, jokes and stuff. So anyway, that's Freddy's Nightmares. Find it. All right, last but not least, Prison A Go-Go. All right, so I don't know how well you can see this, but see this person right there? That is Miss Rhonda Shear, which you probably know her best from USA Up All Night. She's in this movie, as well as Lloyd Kaufman. It's a real cheesy, almost Trauma-esque kind of movie, but it's not a trauma movie. You know, women in prison, but cheesy, not like a 1970s hardcore, like scary women in prison. This is a comical women in prison. I enjoyed it. It's fun. It's goofy. Again, like revisiting these older movies. I mean, this was made in, I want to say early 2000, 2005. They just do stuff in movies that they don't do anymore. You know, that's 20 years ago. I mean, that's a good amount of time, but it's interesting to see like, oh yeah, that joke wouldn't fly today. Like stuff like that. And it's just kind of interesting to me, you know, to see what worked then and won't work now. But Prison A Go-Go, I'm watching this, so hint, hint. I believe it's next week or the week after. Rhonda Shear has relaunched her USA Up All Night show, and I'm going to be on it. How awesome is that? It's done here in St. Petersburg, Florida, half hour away from me. And I've known her for years, actually. She was a guest at Tampa Bay Scream, so I got talking to her, and I might even, you know, I don't want to fanboy too much, but I might bring this over and see if she'll sign it. Why not? You know. But Rhonda Shear, Prison A Go-Go. And it's got, that classic actress that's in a bunch of those movies. Mary Warnoff. Yes. You've seen her before. You'll recognize her. She's in a bunch of movies like this. And this is a Shockorama movie, which they did a bunch of sleazy stuff back in the day. So anyway, Prison A Go-Go. Check it out. Fun women in prison movie. All right. So something to talk about. I am trying to get Die Delta Pi Part 2, the burnt one, going next year. We are doing a private campaign. If you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you probably saw me share about that. I appreciate everyone who's donated so far. Thank you so much. It's kind of a pre-campaign. I don't know if you heard, but Indiegogo, which is where a lot of indie filmmakers like myself go to raise money, it's being a little dysfunctional. So we're having to go other directions. So we need all the help we can get. We got some producer credits available, and I'm selling my soul. So, you know, what is that? So I'm selling a percentage of my soul for $25. You get 1%. And it's basically a sheet that says you own a piece of Sean's soul, get a Blake Williams. It's got a place where I'll sign and date it. Look at my Facebook. I'll share it again. But those are $25. So if you want something actually physical, that's all we're offering at this point, as well as the early bird producer credits. But we got a new script, we got a new cast, we got some great locations, we got some people from the original coming back. I'm not going to tell you anything past that because I want it to be kind of a surprise, but you guys will find out shortly. And I'm excited to do that. You know, we've actually, it's like the 4th attempt to try to make this movie. It just, you know, I think this is the 3rd or 4th script. This is the first one that I've written completely. I didn't even write part 1, believe it or not. That was my buddy Arturo Portillo that wrote it. But this one's completely written by me, will be completely directed by me. I'm really proud of the story that I came up with, and it connects to the first one. It's not one of those like, you know, we put Delta Pi 2 on it, but it has nothing to do. It is connected to the first one, and you'll have to see. So I'm excited about that. We're going to be shooting that in March of next year. So keep an eye out, and we'll see you next time. I'm probably going to transition into Christmas movies slowly. I'm getting the itch for that. So that's what's going to be coming up on the show. But anyway, guys, I'll see you next time.